The River of Hidden Gold. Deep in the heart of the old forest, a group of friends gathered with a single dream: to hunt for gold in the streams that wound through the wilderness. They were not adventurers seeking glory, nor greedy treasure hunters chasing wealth for pride. They were ordinary people, fathers, sons, and brothers, each carrying the weight of their family struggles, each hoping that the river would give them enough to ease the burdens waiting back home. The forest was thick and endless. Tall trees rose like pillars, their leaves weaving a roof that hid the sun. Birds called from high branches, and insects hummed in the damp air. The friends walked with steady steps, carrying pans, shovels, and sacks. Their faces showed both determination and worry. Behind every smile was a silent question. Would the gold truly be here, or would the journey only bring hunger and tired bones? Reaching the stream was not easy. They crossed muddy trails, slippery stones, and narrow paths where even the smallest mistake could mean a twisted ankle or worse. But at last, they heard the voice of water singing through the jungle. A silver ribbon of a stream glittered between rocks, its surface sparkling with sunlight. They set down their packs with relief, for this was the place where their hard work would begin. The first days were hard. Kneeling by the cold water, they dipped their pans again and again, swirling the gravel and sand, hoping for a shimmer of yellow dust. Most times there was nothing, just heavy stones and wet dirt. But sometimes, just sometimes, a tiny speck remained in the pan, glowing faintly. The friends would cheer quietly, their spirits lifted by the smallest promise of gold. They built a camp near the stream, a simple shelter of branches and leaves. At night, they sat by a small fire, talking about their families. One man spoke of his little daughter, who dreamed of going to school but had no books. Another spoke of his old mother, whose medicines were too costly. Another stayed quiet, staring into the flames, his silence heavy with unspoken worries. Each of them carried stories of need, and each story gave them the strength to keep working. The days blended together. Morning came with mist and birdsong, afternoons with sweat and aching backs, evenings with laughter and tired smiles. They grew closer as brothers, sharing food, sharing tools, sharing hope. The jungle tested them with rainstorms that soaked their camp, with snakes that crossed their path, with hunger that gnawed at their bellies. But no hardship broke their bond. Slowly, their sacks filled with small amounts of gold dust. Not enough for riches, but enough to matter. Enough to pay for medicine, for food, for school books. Every flake of gold was more than just metal. It was a dream for a child, a meal for a hungry family, a roof repaired before the next storm. And so they worked harder, even when their hands cracked, even when their muscles burned. Sometimes they quarreled, tiredness sharpening their tempers, but friendship always healed the wounds. A laugh, a helping hand, a reminder of why they were here. Those small things kept them together. They learned that the true treasure was not only in the river's sands, but in their unity, their courage, and their shared dream of a better life. One evening, after a long day, the stream gifted them something greater than before. In one pan lay not just dust, but a small nugget, shining like fire in the fading light. The friends gasped, their hearts pounding. It was more than they had dared hope for. They held it together, their eyes filled with gratitude. That nugget meant months of security, a season of relief, a chance to breathe easier. They stayed for weeks, hunting patiently, never greedy, always thankful. And when their sacks were finally heavy enough, they knew it was time to go home. With tired steps, they left the forest, carrying gold in their packs and stories in their hearts. Their journey had given them more than survival. It had given them proof that courage and friendship could carve hope even in the darkest jungle. And so they returned to their families, not as heroes, not as legends, but as fathers, sons, and brothers who had fought for love. The gold they brought back was precious, but the bond they carried within them was priceless. For in the end, it was not just the river of gold that saved them. It was the river of friendship that kept them alive.
เที่ยวเลย เขาชุบทำไมเนี่ยครับเอาที